For decades, the central dogma of biology treated human beings as blank slates. The assumption was that you were born with a fresh set of genes, and whatever traumas or triumphs you experienced in your lifetime died with you. We now know the erasure process at conception is incomplete. You carry the lived experiences of your ancestors. This shows the two layers of your biological makeup. The static double helix in the center is your genotype, the fixed DNA you inherit. The shifting command line code surrounding it is your phenotype. That is the software telling your body how to actually develop, behave, and survive. The bridge between these two systems is a field called epigenetics. Your environment and behaviors create chemical tags that attach directly to your DNA sequence. They act like volume knobs, turning specific genetic traits up to maximum sensitivity or silencing them completely. When an organism experiences prolonged, horrific trauma, a famine, a war, extreme poverty, it is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, that biochemical environment causes small chemical tags to attach to the outside of the DNA molecule, altering how it's read. Researchers at Emory University demonstrated how these markers move through time. They exposed mice to the scent of cherry blossoms while delivering small electric shocks. Eventually, the mice associated the smell with pain. When those mice had offspring, and even when those offspring had their own pups, the new generations shuddered in the presence of cherry blossoms. They possessed a biological fear of a threat they had never physically experienced. If a rodent can inherit a chemical memory of fear, human beings are operating on ancestral software pre-configured by centuries of trauma, survival, and duty. Dr. Katyali Srivatsa has spent his life trying to reorganize the global medical system. But his drive to do so makes more sense when you examine his lineage rather than his modern medical credentials. He belongs to the Katyali Upadhyaya Brahmin family, tied to the Vishwamitra Gotra. This is a 600-year-old lineage of priest healers and warrior sages, historically anchored to ancient Indian temples dedicated to the deities of medicine and protection. For centuries, families in this lineage have been bound by a specific dharma. They hold a sacred ancestral duty to act as guardians of knowledge and to protect their society from profound threats and poisons. Srivatsa's lifelong drive to systematize medical triage follows the same behavioral patterns established by this lineage, a predisposition toward identifying and neutralizing threats that has been reinforced over 600 years. This ancient programming remained dormant in the background. Then it collided with a modern existential threat that the standard medical establishment was unequipped to handle. We are rapidly entering the post-antibiotic era. Antimicrobial resistance is rising globally, mutating bacteria faster than our pharmacological defenses can keep up, threatening to render our primary medical interventions useless. The standard response to this crisis exposes a fatal flaw. The current system strips patients of agency and relies on a doctor-centric model that forces terrified, sick individuals into centralized, severely overcrowded hospitals. They create a bottleneck of disease. This mass centralization accelerates the spread of viral and bacterial outbreaks. When hospitals become breeding grounds for superbugs, public health officials are forced to implement extreme, fear-driven protocols, isolating patients behind layers of faceless containment. A healthcare system defined by spreading infections and centralized fear creates the very conditions that Srivatsa's lineage was historically tasked to manage. The response is a physical manifestation of that biological drive, the Prema kiosk. It serves as a decentralized healthcare ATM, powered by an AI framework known as Dr. Maya. These kiosks bypass institutional choke points. They operate off the grid using solar panels and localized networks, and they are run as self-sustaining businesses by local women in marginalized communities. This diagram illustrates how the system actually processes patients. Dr. Maya abandons rigid algorithmic checklists. Instead, it uses pattern recognition to take a patient's complex clinical data and distill it into 4 clear color codes. The baseline functions are straightforward. Green indicates a minor illness suitable for home self-care. Yellow prompts the patient to monitor their symptoms closely or consult a local pharmacist. The most vital feature for global public health lies in the blue protocol. This channel identifies hidden infection risks based on symptom combinations in real time, long before a patient ever sets foot in a laboratory for confirmation. Halting the physical movement of just one infected person acts as a firewall. It stops an exponential chain of global transmission dead in its tracks. By decentralizing power, returning agency to the patient, and keeping the infected safely at home, Srivatsa has translated his ancient epigenetic inheritance into a modern digital immune system. It is a biological imperative scaled to protect humanity from the next pandemic.